diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raw Recovery, a Trudging Together podcast. My name is Dion. I'm going to be your host, and you are listening to our 12 Tradition series. And today we are at Tradition 11. Look at us, and we're at Tradition 11. We've learned a lot of things, haven't we? Now, let's remember that we're going to remember. Because what works best in my brain? Well, it's my forgetter. So repetition tends to be the key in a lot of things that we do in the program. A lot of repetition, right? We hear the same things. Well, we need these so that we can be reminded that we do why we do what we do. Or otherwise, I'm just going to go off willy-nilly and think that I can start making decisions all by myself. And, yeah, we know how that turned out before. So let's go and get started. We're going to be in the 12 by 12. If you need to grab it, we're going to be on page 180 for Tradition 11. I'm going to take a little bit of talk, drink a little Taka juice here, and we're going to get started. All right. Let's do this. Tradition 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. Now, we've kind of gone over this a little bit, haven't we? But, some things really need to be reiterated and made a point of. See, no one in AA is so special, right, that we get to speak for AA as a whole or any of these other things, okay? And if we remember back in Tradition 1, what was the theme? The theme of all the traditions is sacrifice. It is. It is sacrifice. It means we're going to give up something for something else. In this case, well, let's just get to it. All right. So without its legions of well-wishers, AA could never have grown as it has. Throughout the world, immense and favorable publicity of every description has been the principal means of bringing alcoholics into our fellowship. In AA offices, clubs, and homes, telephones ring constantly. One voice says, I read a piece in the newspaper. Another, we heard a radio program. Still another, we saw a moving picture, or we saw something about AA on television. It is no exaggeration to say that half of AA membership has been led to us through channels like these. You don't really see it anymore, do you? Yeah. We're supposed to be working with these people. Our public relations policy. Yes, we do have public relations. Look at that. Yes, we do. It's an example that we lead, right? So I'll give you an example. There's been some places here where they've asked, well, how should we spend our money? I'm like, well, I have not seen one public service announcement from you. How about, what's wrong with saying, hey, do you need help and putting it on a billboard or another thing that we're working on here is, if you go to Office of Behavioral Health and their website has no 12-step stuff on it. Well, what's going on there? We need to reach out, public relations. What's going on that you're not listing us? Nothing wrong with asking that. The inquiring voices are not all alcoholic or their families. Yeah, no. See, you hear this thing called Pathways to Recovery. That's what this is. Tradition 11 is the Pathways to Recovery. It is not where you land. It is the pathway to where you land. Okay. Doctors read medical papers about Alcoholics Anonymous and call for more information. Clergymen see articles in their church journals and also make inquiries. Employers learn that the great corporations have set their approval upon us and wish to discover what can be done about alcoholism in their own firms. Now, we got to put a little thought into this, don't we? Because The thing is AA wasn't really well known back then as it is now. Yeah. A lot of people that will talk crap about AA, and there's a lot of misnomers. In other words, they're naive or they're making assumptions about AA. It's quite often I hear, "Oh, AA is a religious program." See, we have to dispel those misnomers. And what do we call that? What do we call that? Well, we call it stigma. That is stigma through and through. And you'll see a lot of things about fighting stigma. You can't fight stigma, you will lose. Fighting stigma just turns into an argument. We got to educate. You have to be a better person. You can only be a good example. You can't tell people what to think and what to do, but we can certainly educate. When you're hand in hand with God, there's not much that can really harm you. Yeah. All right. Therefore, a great responsibility fell upon us to develop the best possible public relation policy for Alcoholics Anonymous. Through many painful experiences, we think we have arrived at what that policy ought to be. It is the opposite in many ways of the usual promotional practices. We found that we had to rely upon the principle of attraction rather than promotion. All right, it's exactly what I do. I do not charge for any of this. This was freely given to me, and I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Well, I got a couple options. I could charge, sure I could, but I'll tell you what, that I'm not going to give the gifts that I would usually receive them. See, you got to pick those gifts, man. Do you want the money, or do you want a better life? Because you're not going to be able to get both. Okay? Not in the long run. No, it won't. Okay? And you can either believe me on that, or you can go try it yourself, and I'll just see you back in the rooms later on. I guarantee it. I watch it happen all the time. Right now, the big thing right now is what they call evidence-based treatment. And they're like, no, AA is not the only idea. It's evidence-based treatment. Well, that is AA. CBT is AA. Okay. We even talk about it in the big book about the belladonna treatment, these different things. Now, it is a little bit different, and they're not quite off, but saying that you can use this in lieu of AA is kind of silly. I'm going to tell you something. You kind of need both. See, we need to see where clinical people are right too. But even a lot of these clinicians, if they say stuff like substance use disorder, I mean, you're with the wrong person, because that person just wants to use their clinical words and talk above your head. And that's not something I very much tolerate either. Okay? All right. Let's see how these two contrasting ideas and attraction and promotion work out. A political party wishes to win an election, so it advertises the virtues of its leadership to draw votes. Doesn't work that way anymore, does it? Yeah, see, a worthy charity wants to raise money. Forthwith, its letterhead shows the name of every distinguished person whose support can be obtained. Much as the political, economic, and religious life of the world is dependent upon publicized leadership. People will symbolize causes and ideas to fill a deep human need. We of AA do not question that. No, we need those people. Okay? But we do soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us. By temperament, nearly every one of us has been irrepressible. Nearly every one of us had been an irrepressible promoter, and the prospect of society composed almost entirely of promoters was frightening. Considering this explosive factor, we knew we had to exercise self-restraint. There it is, self-restraint. Sacrifice. Yeah. Not everybody needs to hear all my opinions and everything else. And, what is it? 90, well, let's call it 80% of the program. And the time does not change this. 80% of the program is keeping your darn mouth shut. It is. It's self-restraint. Why is it? Because we are reactive people. This has been going on a lot. And the thing is this is the problem. We have this big hole in our stomach and it needs to be filled. Well, there's a lot of things that you can try and fill it with, but if it's not done with a higher power in the fellowship, it will be incomplete. I have been watching alcoholics in this program for 35 years now, and it never works. I've never seen it work. Okay? There are certain things that need to be a part of, or it just won't work. And that is fact. It is experience. Yeah. So we got a couple options here. We can either accept what they're saying in the traditions as true, or we can go do it ourselves to find out that they were correct. Well, you can either go waste your time trying to prove somebody wrong, or maybe help another alcoholic. Go help someone else. That's always the key. Even right now, today, I'm like, okay, what does Dion want to do? Because I've now moving on to, well, yeah, I kind of want to get bigger and popular, but how am I going to do that on an attraction, not promotion basis? Heck, I even thought about changing my name and giving myself a title and kind of jumping on this bandwagon, but I just don't know that that's going to work for Dion. I don't know that that'll work. That feels kind of fake. And I will have it'll frustrate me a lot. All right, back to the book. The way this restraint paid off was startling. It resulted in more favorable publicity of Alcoholics Anonymous than could possibly have been obtained through all the arts and abilities of the best press agents. Now, you see this a lot today. Yes, you do. Absolutely. When you go buy from somebody, do you check their reviews first? There we go. Part of the problem is most of those are made up. You can always tell when they're made up. Oh, I just got this program, and it's wonderful. Nobody talks like that. People don't talk like that. Hey? Not only that, but I used to write fake reviews, so I know. All right? So yeah, we still do it to this day. Okay? Now that is an attraction. Because the person themselves that is doing it is not, they did not have them do that. If that makes sense. And that's how I work it. If you're on the show, I want you to share it with your friends. If you don't share it with your friends, it ain't going to be listened to except by the people that follow me. Yeah, that's how I get new listeners. By you coming and listening to your friend, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing it. See, now, and there was no money exchanged. The only thing that was exchanged was experience, strength, and hope. Yeah. And I find that people that do those podcasts with me, they heal a little bit. During the show. We all do. That's the beauty of it. All right. Obviously, AA had to be publicized somehow. So we resorted to this idea that it would be far better to let our friends do this for us. Precisely that has happened. It is to an unbelievable extent. Veteran newsmen, trained doubters that they are, have gone all out to carry AA's message to them. We are something more than the source of good stories. On almost every news front, the men and women of the press have attached themselves to us as friends. Yeah. See, times have changed, but all of this is still true. All of it is still true. There are plenty of people out there that are friends of Alcoholics Anonymous. I know because I work with some of them. Well, they got to open their mouth and say something. See, there's a step being missed. This actually happened. I've been talking to people about this lately. And they'll say, well, yeah, Dion, I was in a meeting, so he was talking, I thought of you. And I tell them, well, if it's a thought that counts, then great. But next time, bring up my name. If you believe in me that much, if you want to help, if you want to promote me, then open your mouth. But telling me that it's just a thought, there's no action in that. Okay? You didn't even make a decision. You just thought of me. That does not help me. Right? I appreciate the thought. I really do. I'm glad that you're thinking of me. That's a good sign, that maybe that, I'm having an effect and things are moving forward. But if it's that situation, don't even bother telling me. Because whereas I appreciate it, it doesn't do me any good. It's just words. Right? I want to see action. Action, action, action. In the beginning, the press could not understand our refusal of all the personal publicity. They were genuinely baffled by our insistence upon anonymity. They got the point. Then they got the point. Here was something rare in the world, a society which said it wished to publicize its principles and its work, but not its individual members. The press was delighted with this attitude. Ever since, these friends have reported AA with enthusiasm, which the most ardent member would find it hard to match. Okay. In today's society, this is how we would say it. If you are in recovery and your plan is to go viral, you see it all over the place. People are watch my recovery road. It's great that you have some time under your belt, but that doesn't mean that you are in recovery. It does not mean that. Okay? Sober is all over the place. Sober for us, this is life or death. And sober is a good start. That's all it is. And it is only about 10% of the program of what needs to be done. If that, I'm giving leeway there. I really am. Okay? But without that recovery, okay, people run around sober this, sober that, mocktails, blah, blah, blah. All this is very fucking dangerous for alcoholics. All of it. Anything that is promoted in recovery is incorrect. It's wrong. It will not do it. Stop chasing pretty lights. Go down the other road. I promise you, it's harder. I promise you, you will get more out of it. I promise you that if you put your will and your everything that you have into God, you will come out unscathed. But did you hear the requirement? Yes. There's got to be a point when we stop taking it as a suggestion and we start moving into action. And Tradition 11 is very much about action. If we are not out there, okay, we're all nice and protected in our meetings, but we have to practice these principles in all of our affairs. That means that every chance that we have to help somebody bring somebody else into AA, we are to open our mouths and do it. Yes. God has given you that. It's a gift, okay? And a gift left unused has consequences. See, it was freely given to you. But then you got to put action into it. Doesn't mean it's free forever. Okay? No. And what is that going to be? Well, it's going to be your action. It's going to be your sacrifice. It's going to be your precious, precious time. Okay? Don't think that just because you give more money in the basket means that you have earned something in the program. Nope. You know why I do so much service work? I don't have money to put in the basket. So I support AA a different way. I get a lot done. No money. It doesn't require money. It requires effort and time. That's it. All right. There was actually a time when the press of America thought anonymity of AA was better for us than some of our own members did. Of course it did. There's always people, oh, this needs to be more, okay? I'm going to tell you something. I hear an idea a minute in AA, and I've heard it all before. And the answer is no. All right? Now, I'm an idea a minute guy. I am. Still am. And I would go to my spot. I want to do this. And he kept saying, Dion, no. He's like, no, you cannot go open this. What was I going? I was chasing money. Well, I had to get serious and get into the program. So he kind of ended that for me. And I was grateful. Then God started saying, not yet. Now he says yes, quite often. Quite often. Okay. At one point, about 100 of our society were breaking anonymity at the public level with perfectly good intent. No, they weren't. No, the intent was not good. They're just trying to be nice here. The intention was bullshit. The intention was likes, loves, hearts, give. Oh, give, 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 give. You know, tomorrow's giving, or today's Giving Tuesday in Colorado. I think it's bullshit. Not only that, but you put it in the middle of Christmas when people don't have money. And I see a bunch of places in recovery begging for money. Oh, well, you could help a person. And yeah, but even then you take like the best insurance and not Medicaid. See, it's off. Something ain't right. It just ain't right. So no, their intention were not good. I don't believe that. These people declared that the principle of anonymity was a horse and buggy stuff, something appropriate to AA's pioneering days. They were sure that AA could go faster and farther if it availed itself to modern public publicity methods. AA, they pointed out, included many persons of local, national, and international fame. Provided they were willing, and many were, why shouldn't their membership be publicized, therefore, thereby encouraging others to join us? These were plausible arguments, but happily our friends in the writing profession disagreed with them. Take a look at Matthew Perry. Okay? Publicly got sober, wrote a book about it, did all these things. I think I was not a fan. I didn't like Friends. I thought it was like the stupidest show. Even the song just irritates me. But Matthew Perry in himself, I like a lot of the actors in it. But Matthew Perry was a good guy. He got sober. Okay. And they died of an overdose. I don't know the exact thing, but see how in the public eye, people lost trust in the program. Well, what's that going to do? That's going to kill more alcoholics. Do you really want to be responsible for that? Do you really want to be responsible or be a part of or even be the process of the death of another human being? That's how much sway this has. That's why it must be taken fucking seriously. Eh? Remember, we talked about Rule 62. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Take the program seriously. This is life or death. Life or death. And yeah, you know, we go through that and maybe we alcoholics. Then think of the children that they're going to leave behind. That ought to hit your heartstring. See, if we don't do this, then our kids, our grandchildren will not stand a chance. They'll be filled with all this other bullshit. We can't let that happen, folks. The foundation wrote letters to practically every news outlet in North America, setting forth our public relation policy of attraction rather than promotion, and emphasizing personal anonymity as AA's greatest protection. Since that time, editors and rewrite men have repeatedly deleted names and pictures of members from AA copy. Frequently, they have reminded ambitious individuals of AA's anonymity policy. They have even sacrificed good stories to this end. Only a few AA members are left who deliberately break anonymity at the public level. All right, so all of you people that you see doing this stuff, they're not in AA. Those are not AA members. Those are the people that I was no, AA didn't work for me. You didn't try something else. There's other pathways. There's a few more pathways, man. Okay. What is this? Well, it's contempt prior to investigation. It's belligerent denial. Okay. I'm glad that you're out there living your best life, but something was given to you and now you're sitting on your laurels. Okay. And that can go on for years. But I'm going to tell you something. Between 8 and 10 years, there's something that happens. And you either stick in AA or you fade away and go get drunk again. It happens every time. Okay? This is a very clinical thing. But it will happen. And you and I are not terminally unique. And therefore, it is very valid that it will happen to us too. How many times do you hear people that go out that have some good sobriety? It's usually between 8 and 10 years or at about the 20-year mark. It is time, and the flustering and the frustration of emotions. Time does not mean shit. We get a daily reprieve, and that is it. That's it. Okay? You don't need to announce your time every time that you go, well, I'm, ever since da 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 da. We don't care. What are you doing today to make the world a better place? It's the only question that needs to be asked. Yeah. All right. This, in brief, is the process by which AA Tradition 11 was constructed. To us, however, it represents far more than a sound public relations policy. It is more than a denial of self-seeking. This tradition is the contrast, is a constant and practical reminder that personal ambition has no place in AA. In it, each member becomes an active guardian of the fellowship. Yes, you are guardian, and you are to protect it. Oh, but everybody, but you're an alcoholic if you sit in that. There's got to be a line. There's got to be a line. Okay. A good example is this. If you are duly diagnosed, and there's plenty of people that are duly diagnosed, maybe you have an overeaters. Okay. Now, here's the thing. All right. Now, I go to AA meetings and I hear people say, I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. That's not okay. You don't hear people with gambling problems or overeating problems or sex problems or any of these other 12 steps. Okay. There is a very big difference between alcohol addiction and drug addiction. Okay. So if you are in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, you are an alcoholic. When you go to NA, you are a drug addict. You have got to keep those separate. I want to hear about it. So my lazy eye is so off. I'm just going to start looking at people like this. There we go. I'm a little vain. All right. This has been Tradition 11. I forget that you don't get to see camera, so you can't see my eye. But this has been Tradition 11. Next, we will be doing Tradition 12. Take a quick look at that. How long is it? Because Tradition 12, let's see, that's 11. I don't think it's as long as I think it is. Tradition 12 is 1, 2. Yeah, it's not very long. We'll be able to do it in one shot. So, all right. Thank you, everybody that's been listening to this series. It hasn't been too many people, but even one's enough. Even one's enough. So, thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.